right. Good work, Jen.
Look at that timing.
Yeah, the good timing. Yeah, nailed it that time. So, everyone watching, listening, live or in syndication, welcome to another episode of How I Met Your Mortgage. As usual, I'm your host, Adam Smith, with Just the Tips Coaching. And with us, pretty much as usual, is our marketing director, Jen Waymore. Good morning. It is morning here, Jen.
It is morning.
All right, but it is
not.
It is not morning where our guest is. Everybody's having a little bit of a struggle going back on daylight savings time here, I can tell. But it is afternoon where our guest is. And please welcome to the show, Jason Sharon. Yay.
That was very good.
We are all lacking a little bit of enthusiasm here this morning. Don't ask me why. But we have been looking forward to having Jason on the show for a good long while. I know Jason well, so we aren't going to be short on topics to discuss today. But for those of you that are new to the program or are new to being exposed to Jason, Jason is a mortgage broker. In fact, Jason is the mortgage broker. He is one of the most badass people in that role from coast to coast. Lives and works in Charleston, South Carolina. And actually, Jason served as my mortgage broker for the purchase of a property in South Carolina last year. Couldn't be happier with his service. Jason is also a Navy veteran. I think you did about 20 years in the Navy. Is that correct?
Yep, 20 years in a month. And that was one really long month.
I'll bet that was a long month. So a career Navy man and now a career mortgage broker, among 1,000 other things. Obviously, Jason and I both believe that there's a really good investment vehicle out there in real estate, and we do some of that. And Jason, as of late, you are also a restaurateur.
Yes, the wife talked me into buying a Thai restaurant. She's originally from Thailand, and there was a Thai restaurant that was for sale, so we purchased that and are operating it, and we're in the process of already opening up our second location.
Wow, this is phenomenal. Cool. 2 locations in Charleston.
Yes.
All right, probably not going to get you to open one in Myrtle, huh?
No.
All right. Too far away.
You know what I think about Myrtle.
Yeah, well, and I've made that drive. That's a long way to go to take care of things going on in a restaurant, no question. So, Jason, I know you've seen the show or heard the podcast, probably both. And I know a lot of our audiences, regular viewers, regular listeners. And again, it's mostly real estate agents, loan originators, some other direct-to-consumer type salespeople. And I think one of the most important things I've learned from you, and certainly a lot of it was when I came down there and visited your office and you walked me through ops and processes and so on and so forth, is literally how your clients have such an amazing experience with you because of your systems and processes. And we both, while it's a different path, we both kind of have this mindset of let's treat it like a Big Mac, and somebody can work on the bun, and somebody can work on the meat, and somebody can work on the lettuce, and somebody can put it in the box. And if they do that on every loan, if that same person is putting the packaged product into the box on every transaction, they get really, really good at it. And then everybody kind of has this wonderful, well-defined skill set, job description, job duties, tasks that need to be accomplished. And it really does make for an amazing process for the borrower.
Absolutely. And that's what it's all about is that customer experience, that client experience. Because if you got nothing, if you deliver the terms on the right date, but that last day is just hectic for that last one document or whatever it is, then you look like a buffoon, even though you nailed 1,500 tasks perfectly all the way up to that point. My processors are bonused if they get clear to close 4 days early. Because if you're clear to close 4 days early, then you know that the clients, at that point their breath is out. They're just waiting on getting the escrow, wire instructions, which obviously we don't do, and it's smooth sailing for the closing.
That's fantastic. And just to satisfy my own curiosity, because I can't remember, you're in a wet state. You guys fund at the table? Okay. However, different from us here in Colorado, you do have title attorneys, not title companies.
Correct.
Okay, so there are a few anomalies there, but in theory, the process is similar. Give us a little bit of feedback on your team structure right now. What does that look like? LOs, LOAs, processors, how many people in each role? I know you've got this cell setup, you've got an A team and a B team and a C team of sorts, and there are people filling each role on each quad, I don't even know how. I can't remember how you describe it. Pod.
We call it
Thank
pod,
you.
POD. And what that does is the big concept on pod is you have built-in redundancy. So if someone's out, you have an A pod and a B pod, and you've got basically 3 members per pod. You've got the LOA who runs and manages the pod. Then you have the intake processor, and then you have the closing processor. Then they have a shared pre-underwriter between the two. So the idea behind that is if pod B, the intake processor is out, this person over here can still step in. You're not just stuck on a typical assembly line process. And then also that allows you for growth. So let's say you're growing, and even though we're seeing originations dwindle, the broker channel is still growing significantly. You saw the housing wire stats that came out not too long ago. We're still in the growth mindset. I'm running ads for hiring. So whenever you're ready to grow, if you want to get a pod C over here, you take your intake processes, which are the I want to say the lowest skilled level. They're the introduction level.
The first step in the process.
Exactly. So you could take someone, actually one of them's from Jiffy. I hired her from Jiffy Lube. So you can teach her how to collect initial set the initial disclosures, order title, order insurance, order appraisal, and then once you're ready to grow, you take these 2 intake processors, about 1 to LOA, 1 to a closing processor, and then you hire 3 new staff members to fill the intake processor position on each of the 3 pods, and then vice versa. Let's say the market really tanks and you have to downsize. Well, if you keep the good stats of knowing, hey, each LOA in each pod gets the same number of leads. Let's say they're each getting 70 leads a month per pod, and this pod A is closing 5 more loans per month than pod B. Then hey, if I do have to let somebody go, it's going to be the pod B restructure, vice just picking someone at random. You've got stats, you've got proven they're actually producing income for the company.
Okay. Fascinating. And a little different than how we do it, because we keep specific track of who's doing what task. So if we're missing somebody, we know what tasks have to be filled in. And when we want to grow, we basically redo the whole damn system. We all sit down, have lunch, figure out every single thing that has to be accomplished every day, every week, every month for transactions to close. And then we just figure out who's going to be best suited to do those tasks. And again, a lot of that comes in with employees' personality profiles, past job skills, those kinds of things. And yeah, we actually call it a board meeting because we keep all this information on a giant marker board in our conference room.
Nice.
So yeah, it's kind of fascinating. All right. So Jen, I know we're doing this in reverse, so bear with us, but I know Jason really well. I've been in his home. I've played with his son. I've ridden in his Lamborghini, those kinds of things. But Jason, let's go back. Let me digress. Give us a little bit of background. So how does somebody coming out of the Navy decide that mortgages were, the next step in my career path, or was there something in between? How did you get into the business after being in the Navy for so long?
So none of us have ever said, "Oh, I'm going to get into mortgages." It just happens, right? Every one of us, it just happens.
This is true.
If someone said, "Yeah, I want to be in mortgages," you're like, "What is wrong with you?"
I'm going to college to become a mortgage broker.
Yeah,
no, I never hear that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it was an accident. I had previously had my real estate license back in 05, 06 when it was easy, and anybody that could fog a mirror could get a mortgage. So I was a realtor then, and I let my license lapse because I got transferred to the military. Place to place, wanting to go try to do a career out of it. So I retired. I was like, maybe I'll get back into real estate, but I didn't want to put people in my car and drive them around all weekend and buy them Subway and then them use somebody else to buy another house. So I was like, well, maybe I'll get a mortgages or maybe I'll get an insurance. I want to do some type of real estate, related role. So I called up my old mortgage guy, Wade. He was still in the mortgage business from way back when. And this was 2015, so it's 10 years later. So it's 2015, I called up Wade and said, hey, I'm thinking about getting a mortgages or I might get an insurance. What do you think? And I was his number one guy back then. So he said, why don't you come to the office and see what we do? So I came into the office and sat down on a pipeline meeting. I couldn't spell FHA. I didn't know what was going on, but it was good energy. I had a real long-standing relationship with the guy. So he hired me. I got licensed, did about 12 or 15 million that first year, not knowing what I was doing at all. We just had a really good connection with a big real estate team. So I was able to feed off of that. Did that for 3 years. My best year was 20 million in volume doing that. And then after 3 years, I decided to open up my own mortgage brokerage because you had to have 3 years experience in the state in order to open up your own company.
Those are big numbers for a newbie in South Carolina.
I was just in a really
then
good
the
place.
average loan amount was significantly lower than it is today.
Yeah, the average loan amount there, that was probably $210,000 to $212,000 average loan amount.
What do you think it is now?
For me,
How far has Charleston moved?
I'm about $310,000 to $315,000, $310,000 to $315,000.
About a 50% increase over that time frame.
And figure I'm mostly govy. I'm 65% government, so there's not a lot of down payments in my role.
Okay, got it. That makes a lot of sense. Or small ones, if that.
Right.
And when you say mostly govy, you really mean mostly VA.
Yes, I'm 65% VA. Conventional is 25%, then 15% FHA.
Okay. And you've obviously made a pretty significant career out of helping active duty military and veterans. Charleston's got a lot of military personnel in their population. Well, South Carolina does.
Yeah. Charleston has a really good Air Force presence, a very much growing Coast Guard presence, and then a fair-sized Navy presence.
Okay. And you've got a lot of experience in both of these careers, Navy and mortgages. So, it seems to me that if somebody's in the military or was in the military and wants to buy a home in South Carolina, you're the guy.
I got a referral on Saturday from somebody that works at Liberty Tax, and I have no idea who this person is, but they were doing somebody's taxes on Saturday and said, hey, you need to give Jason a call. No idea who it was or anything like that. But it was a veteran or active duty service member that was given. It's crazy. My sales manager when I first started said, Jason, if you're going to do anything, find a niche. Just find a niche and just concentrate on that niche. And for me, it was no brainer. VA loans because veterans feel very comfortable with other veterans. So I just did that, and it works. So if anybody's watching, trying to figure out what to do, just pick a niche, whether it's self-employed, first-time home buyers, veterans. Whatever it is, pick a niche and just run with that.
All right. So you've undoubtedly given that some thought because you do have LOs, looking for LOs. Let's talk about what that looks like for loan originators, for real estate agents in what's obviously, when people ask me if it's a hard business to start in, I say, well, yeah, it's always hard. It's just always a different kind of hard. If we're talking about real estate agents as an example, having to have a working knowledge 15 years ago of short sales, REO, bank-owned property, these kinds of things was hard. Today, helping people get into homes with inventory issues, et cetera, is hard. I mean, it's just a different kind of hard. So seeing what we've experienced in the last few years with supply and demand, real estate values, lack of inventory, now we're facing rising interest rates, all kinds of things that are creating, I don't want to say a perfect storm, but that are shifting the way that mortgage and real estate industries look. What kind of advice would you give to these people, knowing what you know about what the market is doing right now, when it comes to how to find a niche, how to continue to be generating leads, those kinds of things? Because again, it's hard. It's just a different kind of hard.
Yeah, you're just going to be at the top of your game. You've got to wake up every day wanted to be, at least how I do. I want to be smarter than everybody else. I want to be the smartest guy in the room. Now, that's not a pride thing. If someone, I'm more than happy to learn and get taught things. But like 15 minutes before this conversation, I got a call from a new construction agent that I pre-qualified a client last week. He's now under contract with this new construction, and the new construction preferred lender can't figure out how to do the loan because the guy has a large encumbrance on his eligibility. He's just gonna have a down payment, and the guy is okay with it. He's gonna net 100 grand from the house he's selling. That's plenty of money to make up that eligibility gap that he's gonna have. And the new construction lender, who's probably been originating for 6 months, just understand that. So as long as you're at the top of your game, you're always getting smarter. You're always wanting to get in the guidelines. I get in the guidelines every day. You just got to be smarter than the next guy because there's so much, even with a tight inventory, there's still plenty of easy business to pick up. If your name is out there and you're skilled and know your stuff.
I think that's true. I couldn't debate that. There's still a lot of people that aren't. A lot of it because they're new.
Right.
So get informed, get educated. How should these people go about doing that? I guess the first piece is to find that niche.
Yeah, you got to plug in with the resources that are out there in our industry. You get involved in, if you're a broker, get involved with AIM. If you're a retail lender, get involved in MBA. There's a bunch of really good Facebook groups out there. Getting to the conferences, networking, learning, that type of stuff. It's just surrounding yourself with people that are smarter than you in order to learn from, and then obviously getting in the guidelines every day, sharpening your guideline skills and sharpening your sales skills. Reading good sales books, reading good leadership books, that type of stuff, in order to just be a better person. And you'll attract. If you start developing that type of personality, you'll attract business. People will notice, people will refer you, people will come back to you. It just builds upon itself.
All right, let's make that shift. And yes, I know that that's true, and certainly for you. I've referred clients to you. Liberty Tax is referring clients to you out of the clear blue sky. I've seen a lot of other people, again, some of these Facebook groups that you're describing, refer business to you. Hey, I've got a client moving to South Carolina. I can't imagine why anybody would want to do that, but it does happen. And sure enough, that makes a lot of sense that you would be writing a lot of that business. But it hasn't always been that way. I mean, Facebook groups, the ability for me to, hey, if somebody's asking in a Myrtle Beach Facebook group who they should use to refinance their home, I'm going to tag you. But that shit didn't exist when you got into the mortgage business.
True.
And for a number of years that you were in the mortgage business. So how else are you generating leads? Where does the business come from? What things are you doing? And yes, your office building that, and I've seen it, and I know you own it. You've got this giant, VA Home Loans sign up on the front, and I've seen your truck, the one we were discussing the maintenance issues, the mechanical issues on. It also has VA Home Loans branded on the truck. But these are the kinds of things that anybody and everybody can do, and they've been doing it since the dawn of time with grocery carts and fucking bus benches and on and on. That's not what's bringing people to you. And it's certainly not what we're bringing people to you 10 years ago.
Right. So my 33% or 32% of my business last year was past client referrals. It wasn't just past clients. It was referrals from past clients or themselves.
Okay.
What I do for my past clients, so when the loan closes, they get a handwritten thank you card. They get put into HomeBot. A month later, I give them a call to say thank you. Remind that you're going to get don't forget to make your first payment. Your first payment coupon is in your package.
That's good advice.
Nobody knows where the first payment coupon is. I don't know how many. So I used that as a proactive touch point to field those some questions when they come. They get birthday cards from me. They get loan anniversary cards from me. They get an email from me 60 days later, reminding them to do their tax form for their primary residence. I would say there's about.
I did get that form. I have no idea what to do with it, by the way. Thank you for calling me and telling me what the hell to do with that tax form.
You're non-owner occupied, so you can just throw it away. It doesn't apply to you.
Hey, I like the sound of that. All right,
check it
keep going.
So there's 20 or 25 touch points that I built into my CRM for post closing.
25 total, 25 that you're recycling.
25. So over the first 2 to 3
25
years,
a year.
25 over the first 3 years.
Okay.
Email them their appraisal later on, just as another reason to reach out. The loan anniversaries every year. Have notes in there if somebody I connected well with, I'll learn their actual wedding anniversaries. I'll learn something about the kids and put notes about that to reach out. Those types of things that are personalized to the person. If it's somebody I clicked well with. If there's somebody I didn't click well with, I don't do anything. I just cut it off. I don't even send them birthday cards. It just depends on the person.
So for those of you that have worked for Jason, know that Jason, and you're not getting birthday cards, know that Jason hates you. Got it. Okay. Well, but Jason, I think there are some bigger pieces of the puzzle that we're not really discussing that fall along those lines. Right off the bat, you said you're putting them into HomeBot.
Sure.
That's another dozen touches a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got
At least.
there. And I do get a good bit of people reach out to me about HomeBot. I've got probably 10 to 15 cash out refis right now, and I could attribute half of those to be past client referrals. And they mention, whenever I ask them, hey, what's the house worth? They said, well, your little thing you send me every month said this. They don't know the word HomeBot. They just know that they're getting something of value from me on a monthly basis.
Nice plug right there. HomeBot is local to us. We know those people really well. Nice little plug for Ernie Graham there.
Yep.
If you are, Jen, if you would put in the comments how our audience can check out HomeBot and even just sign up for it as a consumer, it's free. So you can kind of see what kind of data your clients are going to receive. I cannot stress enough how valuable a tool that is.
Yep. So for gifting, I use another service called EvaBot, EVABOT. And it is an AI gifting service. So you put in name, phone number, I think that's it, maybe name and email, and it'll text them, and it acts like a bot. So it'll say, hey, this is EvaBot. Jason connected us for your closing gift. Is now a good time? And it'll say, do you like wine? Do you like coffee? We'll ask them a bunch of questions. Do you have pets? That kind of stuff. And I think I set my gift at $50, and they charged me like $4 to ship it.
That's cool.
It'll ship them a nice coffee set. It'll ship them if they're into whiskey. It'll send them nice, nice whiskey canters or some of that. One person got a remote control bone for his dog to chase around the house, stuff like that. And then it'll ask them for their birthdays as well. And then it'll come birthday time, it'll send them another gift, $50 gift. So that's the $108 I'm spending per client to really stay in front of them and make them very happy with something that's unique to them. It's not just sending them a cutting board, and they may not even cook themselves.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Every now and then, I don't know what you figure, Jen, every other year, we really analyze what we're doing for our clients for closing gifts and not just the dollar spend or what would be useful or what would they enjoy getting, so on and so forth. And this takes a lot out of it. Raby, one of my clients, Raby.
I've got to put that up.
Says, what about eHarmony? No, we're not getting everybody eHarmony memberships. Tinder, maybe.
That's funny. No, it's because you don't have to think about it. All you have to do is set a price and.
Yeah, no, that is really a brilliant piece of the puzzle. Okay, so
my CRM even does it. Like whenever you get to funded, the CRM sends the link or sends whatever it does, whatever it's supposed to do. I have no idea what it does, but then I don't even have to worry about it. Just the CRM does it.
All right. So a third is repeat clients and client referrals. The other 2/3, working with a lot of real estate agents, I'd imagine. So
yeah, probably 20% realtors.
Okay.
So I'm in a BNI group. I'm probably 10%, 5 to 10% BNI. Vetted VA is a large Facebook group that I get, probably 18% of my business is probably from there.
That's phenomenal. And kudos to Chris for building that system out.
Spectacular. That group is invaluable to the veterans. I do a little bit of radio. So I do a weekly ad that I record every Friday at 10:15. I've used a local talent for an endorsement, and we just talk about what's going on in the market. We talk about what's going on this last week. Instead of talking about mortgages, I talked about that rates have gone up. There's some loan officers that work at banks that are really in a squeeze right now. Maybe connect us. so that way I can talk to them about possibly coming over working for us with lower rates. I got 2 referrals from that of loan officers I'm talking to. Next week, I'm going to talk about non-QM loans. I'm going to talk about bank statement P&L loans. Week after that, I'm planning on running an ad about referrals to the audience. So I'm going to talk about how big part of my business is referrals. I gave out over 1,000 referrals last year. I want to connect with the audience and call me, text me what your business is, so that way I can send you referrals. And that's what my radio commercial is going to be in a couple of weeks.
And you've got a face for radio. It's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Don't put me on TV. I'm surprised we're actually on a video cast.
And it's just a way for us to broadcast this out. But truth be told, the back end of it with Jen stripping out the audio track for our podcast gets a lot more activity than people watching you, and probably even fewer than we would normally get because it's you.
Exactly.
All right. So this is really cool stuff. You've got a lot going on this way. And Jen, I know we're going to run over.
I expected it.
Would you talk to our audience a little bit about the broker channel, a little bit about how do I put this, about what avenues you're pursuing, why you're such a staunch staunch supporter of broker education, and where have you seen the broker channel, the mortgage broker, gain ground in your career, or certainly your time as a broker owner?
Sure. So obviously AIM is a big proponent of that.
Well, give us a little more detail about that. What is it?
Sure. So AIM is the Association of Independent Mortgage Experts. It's our nonprofit that is supporting the broker channel. If you're not part of it, you should check it out. Check out the Facebook page, join, learn about it, then eventually sign up to be a member. AIM is representing us in lobbying, in regulatory affairs, in marketing, and in education. I'm on the education committee, as is Adam, co-education member committee with me. Just doing a lot of good things. The reason why
only trade organization unique to mortgage brokers.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
I'm a trust but verify kind of guy. So whenever I started and AIM was becoming a thing, people were like, "Oh, NAM is crap." I'm like, "Well, is it really? I don't know." So I went to a NAM event down in Tampa, and I left agreeing, yes, NAM is a bunch of crap. But I'm a trust but verify kind of guy, so I went and checked it out. And if you haven't checked out NAM, you're watching this or listening to this, you should, just to make sure that you're making the right decision for yourself. I was at, you probably know Renee Rodriguez. I was at his Amplify event last year. One amazing event, small little boutique event, 10 of us. Anyway, there was a mixture of brokers and retail lenders there. And one of the brokers was talking about how she was doing this new program to help other female mortgage brokers grow. And the guy sitting next to me was listening intently. It was her and I and Mike Cox and Brian were the brokers there. The guy next to me is like, "Well, how much are you making from that?" And she's like, "Well, I'm not making anything." He's like, no, there's no way you're doing that. What are you making, like 5 bips per loan off of her? Where are you making 10 bips, whatever? And she's like, "No, I'm just doing this out of the goodness of my heart. We're helping each other grow. It'll come back to me some way. But if it doesn't, it's okay. I'm helping somebody." And the other 2 retail LOs there just started dogpiling on her, like, "No, what are you making? There's no way you're doing that for free." And I jumped in, Mike did as well. Like, "No, truly, she is just helping us. That's what we do as brokers, is we help each other." Every week I'm talking to somebody that I'm learning something from. And every week I'm talking to somebody teaching. Like last week, I jumped on a Zoom call with a new LO who was doing his first VA loan. So I went to it, I got into his LOS, made sure that the loan was set up right, went through, showed him how to calculate residual income, just helping out another broker, because that's what we do. And that's how we're going to get better, because the better talent that all the brokers have, then the better we look as an industry as a whole, and the better we are for consumers. And then we grow because of that.
Yeah, I can't emphasize enough how important that abundance mindset is. If you have a focus of helping as many people as you can get what they want, you're going to get what you want. That's it. And that's old Zig Ziglar shit. So,
yep.
But if you can exercise that, then God, you're winning in so many ways. I can't even describe it financially and economically and psychologically and community and on. But yeah, agreed. And just like this, we're certainly not. Maybe Jen will figure out someday how to monetize our podcast. But yeah, God, we just want to help people out there do more business, do better business. This is kind of the goal. And I think if you adopt and implement that kind of a true mindset, you are fucking winning. You're gonna win. Keep your foot on the gas when you're working from an abundance mindset. All right, Jen, we are.
Hey, Nikki.
Sorry.
There is Nikki. And yes, we do love Nikki. And for those of you seeing that comment, Nikki is our resident real estate agent in Myrtle Beach. She and Jason do some work together. She helped us find our home sight unseen. I never even saw it until I owned it, which I would probably never do again. But again, we trusted Jason. He trusts Nikki. And damn if she didn't do that exact same thing. Just help people. And God, wouldn't you know, if you come from that place, it all works out. It's crazy. All right, Jen, we're obviously already running over. And we knew that we would. Let's make sure we get Jason back on the show at our next available opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
We love having him on. Maybe next time he'll even introduce our audience to Alex, which would be fantastic.
I just want Thai food now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think we should go there and do the show and have Thai food.
All right. We'll do it at the restaurant.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Take us home, Jen.
Well, something we didn't touch on is Jason is our first confirmed speaker for the Mile High Mastermind this year. So very excited to have Jason come out and talk to our audience this year. So that's September 16th and 17th. As always, if you want to find out more about us, the show, past episodes, current videos, more information on Social Media Day Denver, which those tickets are going on sale very soon. That is June 30th, or the Mile High Mastermind, which is September 16th and 17th. Or if you want a copy of Adam's book, Just the Tips, you can text TIPS, TIPS, to 63566, and it will ping you back literally everything you could possibly want to know about us and about Just the Tips.
And more.
Yes,
and this is actually really funny because now that I think about it, maybe this will be the first year that Nikki and Jason both attend the Mile High Mastermind together.
Yes.
Right?
We'll
that
see
would
if
be
we
cool.
can pull that off. Yeah.
Nikki,
yeah.
you gotta come again.
Calling you on the carpet here, Nikki, for sure. But maybe we'll make Jason pick her up and take her to the airport. All right. Well, thank you, Jason. I know, and even more so because we talked about it before we went live, that carving this kind of time out on a Monday morning is not an easy task, especially for somebody as busy as you, parent, spouse, mortgage broker owner, restaurateur. And God, I can't even imagine all the other things that you're dealing with, as adulthood is so ridiculously time consuming. Nobody warned us about that, by the way. So thank you, literally, from the bottom of my heart.
I'm honored to be here.
Oh, no, I promise you it's all ours. All right, so let's call that an episode. And we will see you guys next week, Jen, I assume.
Yeah,
we've
got
a couple this year.
Joe Finehandler.
Joe Finehandler will be our guest next year. Speaking of broker owners, we're going to go to the opposite coast. So join us next Monday at 10:30 Mountain Daylight Time. Yay, daylight savings. For another episode of How I Met Your Mortgage. Thanks again, Jason.
Thanks.